All right, so it's vacation season. As I'm recording this, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and the plan for the week was to drive to Illinois with my son and dog, which I did, so Alex could visit his dad. Also, I've never really done van life in the cold, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to test it out with Henry while Alex is with his dad. So why, if I'm doing van life this week, did I just spend the night at a Holiday Inn Express? Hey guys, I'm Ann, single mom and travel lover. And today we're wrapping up our 3-part series to talk about a topic that can fundamentally change the way you experience the world, slow travel. But what even is slow travel? Well, in my opinion, it's the way humans have traveled since the beginning of time. So it was in the late 19th century, early 20th century when the concept of paid vacations became a thing, as well as when cars started to become much more normalized for the average citizen and the roadways improved. Mass tourism really boomed after World War II with the start of commercial air travel. But here's the thing, mass tourism is when large numbers of people will flock to the same locations, right? Popular locations. And to accommodate the flocks of people, those locations started to create and standardize all-inclusive resorts and kind of the common experiences that people wanted while they were on vacation. It was the industrialization of vacations. So at its core, slow travel isn't about moving slowly, like taking a train or a bus or a car instead of a plane, although that can be part of it, but it's an approach to travel, a mindset shift that emerged from the slow food movement that started in Italy in the 1980s. On March 20th, 1986, Rome, Italy opened its first McDonald's, and it was not well received, although it is still there today. Italians protested not only because of the impact of McDonald's and fast foods on the historic area, but because of the impact it would have on Italian culture, which is not about the fast-paced life, but also not about poor quality, foreign-sourced ingredients. That can be argued whether it's even real food at all. The slow food movement of Italy wanted to honor Italy's rich culinary traditions and culture, as well as their traditional cooking methods. Likewise, the slow travel movement is about slowing down to appreciate the details that fast travel can miss, like the rhythm and flow of a city or the cadences of the local speech and all the traditions and cultures that a location has. There's also an element of taking care of the environment by reducing travel pollution and overflowing tourist destinations.
After a 92% increase in tourism on the Galapagos Islands off Ecuador, the United Nations now says tourism itself is one of the main threats to the island's habitat.
As time goes on, I've also noticed more and more landmarks aren't letting you touch or actually enter them. The more people touch and handle these landmarks, the more they do get destroyed, which on the one hand, I completely understand wanting to protect the landmark and not letting people engage with it as much, but not engaging with it also makes it kind of pointless to even go. So one of the things I do when I look up places to go is whether I'm still able to engage with that site. So for example, in Mexico, there's a lot of ruins that you're not able to climb anymore. Again, completely fair that you're not able to climb them, but my favorite ones are the ones that I'm able to still climb and engage with. When I lived in Italy, I of course visited the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I was able to climb to the very top and feel the structure that was leaning, as well as of course the amazing view. Slow travel is about quality over quantity. Instead of ticking off a checklist of landmarks and things to do, experiences to have, slow travel encourages you to immerse yourself in a single location and culture. A lot of people don't even necessarily consider it to be travel or vacation, so much as moving to and living in a foreign to you location for a short period of time. And that period can be a couple of weeks to a couple of years. If you've been following my channel, you've seen how I stayed over a year and a half in Mérida, Mexico, followed by a little over a year and a half in San Cristobal de las Casas, Mexico. While slow travel doesn't have to be quite so long, that's the concept. Staying long enough to really start to get the location. The core philosophy is that authentic experiences takes time. You can't rush a genuine connection with a new culture or community. You have to slow down and be present, instead of already thinking about the next destination on your itinerary. So why bother? Do we really want to trade a whirlwind tour of Europe for a deep dive into one region? So let's talk about some of the benefits. You ready for a walk? Yeah. First and foremost, it dramatically reduces travel burnout. When you're not rushing from place to place, hold on, or rushing after a dog, trying to avoid all the muddy spots. When you're not rushing from place to place, trying to hit all the landmarks, you have time to stop, to rest, recharge, and truly absorb your surroundings. So you can come back from your trip feeling rejuvenated and not in desperate need for another vacation. Second, and this is fairly obvious, but the longer you stay, the deeper cultural understanding and connection you're going to make. By staying longer, you move outside of the tourist bubble. When I was living in Naples, someone once told me that you can enjoy and learn all about Naples in 3 to 7 days. And the 7 days included visiting the surrounding areas like Pompeii or the Amalfi Coast. Are you kidding me? Naples, Italy is a place I lived for 2 years, and I still wouldn't say I truly know the culture, but I did get to know a lot more than I would have if I only stayed 3 to 7 days. Listen, sometimes all you have is 3 days, 7 days, maybe 2 weeks, and that's fine. But just understand, it does take time to discover the hidden gems, to learn a little bit of the local language, and to get to know the people. Back to the warmth. Whew. Cold. It is cold in Illinois. I should have brought my gloves. The third benefit of slow travel is it's inherently much more sustainable and affordable. When you're discovering a city for longer periods of time, this is when you're going to use public transportation more, such as trains, buses, taxis, and especially walking. It also means more of your money is going directly into the pockets of the local economy. By supporting local businesses and hosts, rather than major international hotel chains and flying from place to place. Staying in one place is also more affordable because you're paying for less flights, and you tend to get better deals on longer term accommodations. And finally, it really is just more enriching. These are the trips you'll remember. When you stay in a place longer, you won't need the photos to prove that you were there or to remember all the places you went. Case in point, my son and I did full-time van life for about 5 months right when I retired. Some places we stayed a day, maybe 3 days, and other places we stayed for a couple of weeks. Guess which locations we remember best? The places we hung out for just 1 day, or the places where we hung out for a couple of weeks? I even kept a travel journal where I documented every place we stayed, and as I looked through it to remind myself where I went, yeah, if I only stayed there 1 day, I really don't remember it, even though I'm looking directly at my travel journal. But the places I stayed for a week, 2 weeks, yeah, I tend to just remember those places. So, okay, how do you actually slow travel? First, let's just be honest. While slow travel is definitely much more affordable than fast travel, it's still a luxury because you have to have the time and location freedom to be able to hang out somewhere outside of your home for weeks and certainly for months or years. It's a time and location luxury. To stay a couple weeks, much less 2 years in, let's say, Italy, means your job or your school or your life needs to let you. Slow travel is being away from your physical obligations for longer and longer periods of time. A lot of people rightly associate slow travel with digital nomads and retirees because those are the types of people that can theoretically live anywhere, since they either don't work anymore, like myself, or they have a fully online job. But I do want to mention there are jobs out there that will pay you to live abroad, although of course it'll be on the job's terms, not necessarily your own terms. For example, I lived in Italy for 2 years, Japan for 4, almost 5 years, and even Kenya and Djibouti. And I got to visit so many places in Europe, not because I was retired, but because my job paid for me to be in those locations. This was when I was active duty military. My baby sister currently lives in Japan, and she's been there for 7 years now. For the first 6 years, she was teaching English in Japan before she got married and started a business there with her husband. And of course, there's many other jobs and ways that would also allow you to travel overseas, such as entering a travel-related field like the tourism industry. But let's say none of those things interest you and you just get a week or 2 a year for travel. Here are some tips for practicing slow travel on your next trip. Number 1 is to redefine your timeline. When planning a trip, don't think in terms of how many cities you can visit each week or all the landmarks you want to see. Think in terms of days per city or even weeks. Instead of 2 days in Paris, 2 days in Rome, 3 days in Barcelona, choose just one of those cities and give it a whole week. Less destinations, more time. 2, choose local accommodations. Ditch the big, all-inclusive resorts and opt for smaller hotels, Airbnbs, local guest houses, or homestays. This is the fastest way to feel like a temporary resident. You'll either have a kitchen to cook all the foods you found at the local market, or you'll be able to explore the town to discover local restaurants. In an all-inclusive, you tend never to leave the resort, so you're not really in that city. And while I'm not a huge fan of sharing spaces necessarily, especially because I travel with my son and dog, when you stay local, your hosts, as well as other travelers, can provide really valuable insights that you're never going to find in a guidebook. Number 3 is to embrace public transportation and walking. Living in the US, sometimes we get so caught up in the car-centric world of the US that we don't realize other countries, other locations, they have amazing local transportation and cities that are incredibly walkable. And slow travel really does mean that the journey itself is part of the experience. So use trains, buses, even taxis and Ubers, but especially your own 2 feet. This is how you see the real landscape around you and observe daily life as it happens, rather than just zooming over it all. And last, definitely schedule in some unstructured time. This is critical. Don't plan every day. Leave entire afternoons and mornings completely blank. This free time is when the magic happens. When you spontaneously wander into an interesting side street or decide to spend 3 hours just people watching at a cafe. Embrace the art of doing nothing special. Which is how, by the way, I ended up in a hotel room last night as I was traveling Illinois, stopping pretty much wherever caught my eye. This is me as Clark Kent. Of course, as a van lifer, I'm constantly looking at the weather to make sure everything's okay. And last night, Southern Illinois experienced a winter storm. Overnight, they were expecting up to 4 to 6 inches of snow. Now listen, I do have a van. We can stay warm in here. But 1, I have a dog who has to have walks every once in a while outside of the van. And 2, it's not exactly fun to be in the van if it's so cold. So I decided to drive south. I actually even explored a little bit of Tennessee, but ultimately I went south for the warmer weather and to avoid dealing with snow and icy roads altogether, and decided we're just gonna take a night and stay in a hotel to just not deal with the cold weather, which for me at least is a huge aspect of why I love slow travel and not having an itinerary, not telling myself I have to be in a certain place at a certain time. I think especially in van life, that's ludicrous. Slow travel is more than a trend. It's a mindful choice. It's choosing to be present, to be aware of your surroundings, to be connected and rested. It's about returning home with stories to tell about the people and the culture, not just pictures of monuments. So I'm going to challenge you on your next adventure to just try slowing down. Pick one place to stay a while and truly immerse yourself.